Good morning, fellow Gorilla Gang. What is cracking, baby? What is cracking? We're back here for another video. Getting ready to buckle in for a pretty decent one. What is up, everybody? Welcome to Trace Trades. We have technical analysis on different stocks in the stock market, as well as potential buy, hold, or sell opinions on these given stocks. I'd like to preface by saying that I'm not a financial advisor nor expert, so take what I say with a grain of salt. Let's get into the video. Today, my friends, we're going to give you an update on ticker symbol XONE up here in the top left of your screen. XONE from the NASDAQ. Man, this is a stock that I have a lot of conviction in, that I think has a lot of solid potential. And to be completely transparent, I do have a position in this stock, which I will be increasing here over time. I do have 7 shares, waiting for some dry powder. I am also going to be getting some free stock from Webull in this company, and I have a lot of conviction in them for sure. So we're going to look at the fundamentals of the company, the why. Why should you care? Why is this a good stock? Why do I think there's potential for this down the road, right? And then some recent news catalysts, including some institutional holdings, a contract that they secured by the Department of Defense, the DoD, and then the meat and potatoes, the chart setup. So we're going to look at the 1 month chart as well as the 1 day, 1 minute chart to give both a macroscopic and microscopic perspective of the overall price action. I've got a couple different indicators pulled up. The RSI, which is a relative strength index. Anything over 70 is overbought. Anything under 30 is oversold. This gives you an idea of both bullish and bearish momentum. That way you can predict upcoming movements on a stock. And then I've got the 200 EMA and the 15-day MA right here on the screen as well. The 200 EMA is the exponential moving average. This is a price action-based valuation trend line over a 200-day moving period, which gives us a macroscopic perspective of previous price action. And then the 15-day MA, which is the moving average. Some brokerage accounts call this the SMA. The simple moving average, they are one and the same. And this is a microscopic perspective of price action. It's a price action based valuation trend line over a 15-day moving period. We use these side by side so we can predict upcoming breakouts and breakdowns, and I do anticipate that you're going to see an upcoming breakout very soon here in the future, just based on some other things that we're seeing here on the charts. So we're looking at both bullish and bearish patterns that we are seeing here on the charts. We have had quite a bit of a pullback, which we will talk about here in the future, but this is the biggest buy the dip, baby, opportunity that we have had on XONE for literally like a month and a half. So we've got a lot to talk about here today, my friends. Buckle in. Let's get into the video. So what is the why? What do these guys do? Why should you care? XONE Company is a provider of 3D dimension printing machines and 3D printed and other products, materials, and services to industrial customers. The company's business primarily consists of manufacturing and selling 3D printing machines and printing products to specification for its customers using its installed base of 3D printing machines. It also supplies the associated materials, including consumables and replacement parts and other services, including training and technical support that are necessary for purchasers of its 3D printing machines to print products. The company's 3D printing machines build or print products from computer-aided drafting CAD models by depositing successive thin layers of particles of materials such as silicate sands or metal or ceramic powders in a build box. This company has got so much freaking potential, my guys, and if this is any hint or clue as to where Nano Dimensions can go down the road, I know this isn't related, but that would tell you a lot about why Kathy Woods and ARK Invest is so interested in Nano Dimensions. Not to mention that they have a stake in XONE, which we will get into here in a little bit. But exactly what these guys do essentially is they build metal, sand, or ceramic materials that can be used by a variety of different companies, right? To whether it be manufacturing, whether it be the Department of Defense, like we've talked about before, ceramics, it could be, just an art studio. There's so much potential here regarding what could happen with this company. I want to start off by showing you their website. So I've got their website pulled up here. We can look at some of their different systems, right? So they've got these metal 3D printers. As a world leader in binder jetting systems for more than 20 years, XONE's innovative metal 3D printers simply deliver more. That includes industry-leading accuracy, density, and critical part-to-part repeatability. So we've got the XONE 160 Pro, which you can just see the specs on here, right? This helps you build more than 10,000 plus cc per hour. It's a metal 3D printer. So essentially what these can do, these metal 3D printers, you could print off parts for guns, right? Which would be utilizable by the military. You could replace parts on cars, right? You could build up a new transmission if you really wanted to. I mean, whatever it comes down to, you can see the applicability and how much of a disruptor this company could truly be. It saves a lot of manpower. It can save a lot of work hours. And this is a crazy, crazy niche market that not a lot of capitalization has come from. Check this one out. The Invent Pro will be the world's most advanced entry-level model for metal binder jetting. This all-new model combines the ease of use of the Invent Plus with the production capabilities of the X125 Pro and a binder jetting first. The ability to 3D print nano-fused particulate inks. The Innovate Pro delivers 3 times the build area of the Innovent Plus and the same printhead right off the 25 Pro for high-speed throughput and reliability suitable for R&D, prototyping, and precision manufacturing. So there is a lot of capabilities that can come from these different metal 3D printers. We've got the sand 3D printers, which we have talked about as well. Sand 3D printers from XONE support sand casting applications across industries, allowing our customers to innovate and provide enhanced design options and solutions for their clients. We're just taking a quick peek at this. The future of industrial development continues to place high demands on foundries and suppliers. Sand 3D printing is at the beginning of its potential. As a leader in additive manufacturing of 3D sand printing, XONE offers solutions for complex and increasing customer demands that cannot be realized by any other production process. Incorporating XONE sand mold and core systems helps enhance operations and creates efficiencies for industrial manufacturers moving forward into Industry 4.0. So there's a lot of cool stuff here as well. Sand 3D printing, I think also has potential. I'd say I like the metals 3D printing a little bit more, but you can see how this would be beneficial, right? So the S Max Pro covers the full range of 3D sand printing from prototyping to serial production and is able to process all XONE binder systems. It is available as a standalone solution, but is also scalable and can be connected by a network that creates a fully automated production line to realize the industrial serial production in 3D sand printing. So as it mentioned, right, you could use this as an industrial line, right? An industrial production line that can create products much faster than humans can, right? Excuse me, I'm a little bit tired. Gotta rub my eyes here. Sorry about that. Anyways, got sand in my eye or something. There's a lot of potential with this 3D sand printer, right? So I think this is going to be a really big, I would say, disruptor in the market in terms of industrial movements, right? Industrial production. And there are other people who think so as well. If we look at the overall institutional ownership, which you definitely want to pay attention to, I would say anything over 10 to 15% is significant in terms of institutional ownership. And we have here a monumental number. 77.93% of this company is owned by institutions. So 14.95 million total shares are owned by big companies out of 19.18 million. Now, this is good for a couple different reasons, but before we get into that, the most recent buy-in came from ARK Invest Management LLC, and they bought in for 12.38% of the total stock. So that is huge. That's a huge number. Anytime that ARK has invested in something, inevitably you have a cult following that follows and gets into the stock because of this. Now, when they bought in, which would have been the 16th, or at least when the file date came, right? You did not see much price action here on the chart. I've been asked by quite a few people about that. On the 16th, we actually saw a sell-off. And my belief on the reason for that is just because we saw market-wide sell-off across all different industries here. So if we look on the 16th here, right, Nano Dimensions didn't have much happen either. They traded sideways. We come over to BNGO. I'd be willing to bet you that these guys traded pretty sideways or negative on the 16th as well. Had a little bit of a green day, but nothing crazy in the least bit, right? Clean energy sector, if we check out Fuel Cell, these guys they've been getting beat down as well, right? So a lot of different companies as of the last couple of days have been red just because of the overall market, I would say sentiment. And XONE is definitely no example to that. No exception to that, right? They've been getting beat down because of this market-wide sell-off that has been happening the last couple of days. But nonetheless, this is a very significant number. I would be That's just a huge number. I don't think I've honestly seen a 77.93% institutional ownership on a company before. That is the first time for me. And not only is that good because you know where big money is putting their cash, right? It's good because that decreases the overall float in a company. So out of 19.1 million shares, if there's almost 15 million owned, we're just going to round that up to about 4 million total that are outstanding, right? After the institutional ownership, that means that the float on this is low, which makes the volatility on this much, much higher, right? Which is why I think you've seen a huge push on this stock with not as much volume as you've seen maybe in some other companies. So if you look at a typical day, you're seeing about 1.5 million, 1.6 million, 4.9 million, 2.5 million, right? So not a lot of volume coming into this in comparison to some other stocks. And I do believe that is because there is a pretty low float overall on the company. So that's pretty significant. I do think that is worth mentioning. And then lastly, I do want to mention this as well because this is huge. This is a huge contract deal. Anytime that you have a government-backed institution that is buying into a company, right, that wants the contract or a deal, that is significant because there's a lot of money tied in with the government. So check this out. XONE developing portable 3D printing factory and shipping container for Department of Defense. The Department of Defense has a huge chunk of the country's yearly budget. They get trillions of dollars over years and years and years. So check this out. The XONE company, NASDAQ XONE, the global leader in industrial sand and metal 3D printers using binder jetting technology, has been awarded a U.S. Department of Defense contract to develop a fully operational self-contained 3D printing factory housed in a shipping container. So this is what it would look like. You got the 3D scanning and prep station, a ruggedized metal and ceramic. I don't know why this thing has like 16-bit. That's terrible. This is such a bad picture, but nonetheless, it is still the same relevance. Ruggedized metal and ceramic binder jet 3D printer. You got a curing oven. You got the fiber reinforced plastic 3D printer and a compression molding station. Nice freaking green camo here, looking absolutely beautiful. And this is going to be huge because when the army deploys, right, they go to countries like Afghanistan, Iraq, Syria, maybe Okinawa, Japan, right? This would actually play some relevance for me as well as an air defense artillery officer if they end up not med boarding me out with my heart condition. But nonetheless, it's relevant because they can print off either sand or metal 3D printed objects to help in the battlefield. Maybe they have a Humvee that had some issues, right? And they need to replace a part. They can do that. Maybe they want to print out the casting for one of the missiles, the $500,000 missiles that I launched. They can decrease the overall cost on those missiles by printing off the casting on that missile round, right? So you can see the applicability. This is huge. I think this company is going to be absolutely capitalized on by the military, and there's a lot of money that can be tied into this. Check this out. Awarded by the Defense Logistics Agency in August, $1.6 million contract will focus specifically on improving the ruggedness of ExOne's commercially available binder jet 3D printers for a wide range of operating conditions while maintaining exacting final part quality. So that's a pretty big dollar sign. I don't mind that in the least bit. And if we look at their financial situation real quick here and look at their annual earnings, right? As of 2019, they had a little bit of a red year, but their gross profit was about $17.57 million, down about 16%. And if we look at their net income, that was actually in the negative. So that is going to help them really capitalize on some gains here. I think what is more interesting about their income is the quarterly. If we look at their Q3 of 2020, we look at their gross profit, they were green. They were up about 35%. Cost of revenue, way, way better. 68%, which is monumental. Revenue itself was up. We look at the net income, that was down, right? But that's my anticipation because they have been investing in some of these products, getting ready for contracts like what they have with the DoD, right? And that's why this was a penny stock, a month ago, which I think a lot of people forget is that if you look at this at the end of December, this stock was trading at $9. December 30th, this stock was trading at $9. So that is insane. That's absolutely insane. You cannot beat that kind of growth. And as of now, I think they're getting ready to bottom out here very, very shortly. We will find out for sure. We're going to get into the charting setup now, but it does look like they are finally going to break out of this descending level of resistance that has been, causing some selling pressure for a little bit of time now. So we're going to look at this setup here really quick. What we have here is a George W, which did not end up panning out. I would say 7 or 8 times out of 10, a George W setup, which is a double bottom, typically is the sign of an upcoming, bullish run. We did not end up getting that. The market itself, technical analysis is always going to be trumped by trader sentiment and news catalysts, right? So the sentiment across the market right now is bearish, right? The last couple of days, I would say the last 3 days specifically, have been pretty bearish in nature, and we have been seeing some sell-offs. So XONE was not an exception to that, but this is presenting you with an opportunity to get into this stock for very, very cheap in comparison to that $66 price target that we have here on the high, the 52-week high on the company. The overall volume is nice and consistent, and what I like to see the most is that if you check out the volume here on the last 3 days, it is a little bit lower, or I would say at least equal to what we see coming in on the high days, right? On the days where it's really pumping. So that is a good sign to me. I think when you've got days when it's red and there's less volume or equal volume to what you're seeing prior to Prius. I was going to say Prius for some reason. Prior to, green volume, green days, right? That means that a lot of people are holding in the stock, right? And it's not likely to be a shorted company. So if you just check out the overall short interest on XONE, I would be willing to bet you that it's not very high. This is not something I have previously looked at, but now that we're here, we might as well check this out. So we're going to look at this on Fintel. Look at the overall short interest, and it is 12% short volume ratio. 293,000 short volume coming into this. If we look at the previous days, nothing crazy. In fact, it has been going down. I think there are some shorts that have covered positions. and the short borrow fee rate is 1.53%, meaning that there's not a lot of risk involved for shorts right now, meaning that there's not a lot of short interest. This number is going to go up the more of a heavy short stake there is in a company, because that increases the overall chance of a squeeze potential. So I think there's not a lot of risk involved with getting into this company. I don't think it's a very heavily shorted stock, and for good reason, because this is a good company with a lot of solid potential. They've got that DoD contract deal, which is absolutely monumental. The increase in demand for 3D printing, whether it be metal or sand, right, is only going to increase over time as we move slowly from a workers market, right, to a production technology market. So that looks absolutely beautiful. Volume is nice. We've got this bounce, hopefully off of this level of support right here at about $38.95. We just take a quick peek at the level 2s. We've got the largest buy wall, or sell wall, I should say, sitting at about $42.89, which is going to be right here, acting as a solid level of resistance. We're just going to round that up to about here at $43. And then the biggest buy wall sitting at about 40 bucks. So this is looking like it's going to have a pretty solid day from my understanding so far. There's a lot of buyers waiting to get orders filled, and it's trading in a pretty tight price zone. So I think there's going to be people that are trying to take the opportunity here to buy into this stock. If you want to get into the company, right, what are you going to be looking at for an entry point? Well, it does look like we might end up breaking out of this descending level of resistance, as I had mentioned prior. So far on the day, I think they are positive just a little bit, about 2% in here in the pre-market. And I want to see a wide range candle that breaks away from this descending level of resistance in order to indicate that we are in fact going to be out of this downward trend. But nonetheless, if we do get that, right, that to me is going to indicate that we have found a bottom. Now, if it doesn't do that, right, we might not see that happen. It might just end up consolidating. And if it ends up consolidating, you might see a little bit of trading sideways between this price zone right here, up and down, getting ready for the next leg up. Consolidation is not bad. Consolidation favors buyers slightly. Some people think it's neutral. I do not agree with that. I think that consolidation gives, confirmation to buyers that a stock is not just going to rip and dip, because nobody wants to get into a stock just for it to go down immediately, right? So as it continues to consolidate, that is just going to give confirmation to buyers that the stock is in fact going to end up doing something here in the future. So two scenarios here. I think you're either going to see a wide range candle that breaks above this descending level of resistance, right, confirming that we're back in bullish territory, or B, it is going to continue to trade sideways for the rest of the day here, in which case both scenarios, I think you're going to make out pretty well buying into the stock. So a good buying point for me is going to be on this downward level of support right here at about $40. So if you can get this anywhere between, I would say, $39 and $40, I think you're going to do pretty well with this stock. For me, this is going to be a long-term hold position. I don't plan on selling this for a year. I'm not paying my capital gains on this, baby. Not a chance. And I'm going to continue to build my position in this stock. I think this is going to be a core piece of my portfolio. I really love seeing a DoD contract, right, because that is not going to change. The DoD, man, they use computers from the 1990s still. Windows is still making money off of their original PC they ever put out. So they're going to hold on to this contract and try to keep it for as long as they can to really capitalize on the potential there. So for me, this is a long-term stock. If you do want to swing this as well, there is opportunity there. Buying at $30 and a ride back up to $66, which is the current high, is very possible. You can see the amount of volatility and growth just because of the low float that is existing on the stock, the low amount of shares that are available to trade, right? So you can play it off that way as well and ride it up to about $66 for a pretty solid 20-30% gain. So just to double down, I do think somewhere between $39 and $40 is going to treat you well as the best possible entry point into the stock, and that is what we're looking at here on the 1 month chart. Very a little bit bearish in nature. We've got the 15 MA underneath the 200 EMA. It has had that pretty long sell off. RSI is at 42, so not a lot of buying momentum on this yet, but to me, this is a get ahead of the hype sort of situation. It's a buy the dip situation, anticipating the upcoming hype, the upcoming, buying momentum, the bullish momentum, right? Getting that 15 MA to cross back over the 200 EMA. It does look like it is starting to slow down here pretty solid. I mean, you can see just looking at this with your eyes, right? Harsh selling pressure, and now it's slowing down. Now it is slowing down, and once we get that wide range candle bar confirmation, that is the last thing that I need to see in order to confirm that this is in fact the bottom of the stock. So we're going to come over here to the 1 day, 1 minute chart for any last minute confirmations. As it's sitting right now, we are microscopically speaking in bullish territory. We had the 15 MA just cross over the 200 EMA. Not a lot of volume pumping into the stock as of right now. Pretty choppy price action, which you do see with not a lot of volume, which is not surprising considering the low float that is existing on the stock. But that is a good thing as well, because the low float does increase the volatility. It is going to move the stock a lot more since there's huge holdings from those institutional companies. Right on the RSI, we're sitting at about 67. So it does look like this might be the beginning of a nice bullish run for XONE here today, and that is what I have for the video. So if you enjoyed it, please drop a like. It really does help support the channel, and consider subscribing if you'd like to see more content like this. Lastly, I have an affiliate link in the description box down below for Webull. This is version 4 for the desktop. Absolutely great platform that allows you to start trading at 4 a.m. I was about to say 4 p.m. Yes, I get to trade at 4 p.m. 4 a.m. in the pre-market. If you'd like to use my link, you get 2 free stocks as a $100 deposit. I'll receive a free stock. Great way to support the channel, my friends. And if you're not interested, that is totally fine. I just appreciate your support by taking the time to watch my videos. I also have a link to the merch store in the description box down below if you'd like to check that out. If not, that is cool too, my friends. And that is what I have for you guys today. So thank you for watching, my friends, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.